Okay, Leo, welcome to Tourmaline Tarot. We're going to do your October read. I was waiting until Mercury was direct because tech issues have been wild, so we're good. And also, if this is yours, you'll know. If it's not yours, you'll also know. So, just keep that in mind. Let's see here. Leo, October, what do we have going on? One, two. There she is. Okay. So, Leo, what can we look at for October for you? All right, so doing a 9-carder. Okay. I feel like to get what you want, you might have to kind of change stuff or change habits, move away from stuff that you feel like you have obligations to. Something you've put some work into. It's like you don't want to bail completely, but at the same time, you can't really be beholden to it, or you're changing strategies around it. Because you've been, in a way, I want to say, like with this Wheel of Fortune, you're presented with new information. Because the Wheel of Fortune is starting up here. 4 of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. Like I said, when you're presented with the new information, this 4 of Cups could be like there could be something that comes into kind of a sharper focus. But I feel like it doesn't really rattle you that much because you know what to do with it with this Knight of Pentacles. And then you're just like, oh, and we're back to sitting pretty. You're welcome. So in the center, you have 6 of Swords. So like I said, you are kind of switching things up a little bit. You are going to a more calmer environment. 8 of Swords, people are like, oh, it's fear, it's entrapment, and blah, blah, blah. To me, it's obligations. You could still have obligations that you have to attend to. Even if you have this star energy over here that's like, no, look at all this stuff is possible. But like I said, I keep feeling this, I'm presented with new information. Because it's the Wheel of Fortune, 8 of Pentacles, 4 of Cups. You could have to kind of maybe, like I said, pivot a little bit with your strategies. Because the 8 of Pentacles is like, all right, so maybe you chose to work on this one particular facet and then something comes along where you had to switch gears. And the 4 of Cups is like, no, Leo, try this now. With Star, 6 of Swords, and 8 of Swords, I feel like there is a lot of optimism behind it, even if it is doing your due diligence. And whereas that might not be fun, also it's a good opportunity to look at the stuff that not bothers you or stuff that has to be healed or, like anything as deep as that. But like, what does your fulfillment mean? What does it mean to have these obligations? Sometimes people are like, you're lucky to have the obligations you do. You're lucky to have the stuff that you do. Even if it seems like a lot. I mean, the most obvious thing I can think of is, kids. Like, how much work are those suckers? But, it is rewarding. Fingers crossed. Got a couple years to see if it pans out, but we'll find out. So then we have Knight of Pentacles, the World, and Queen of Pentacles. So like I said, yeah, it's like you take that, whatever you feel like you had to kind of pivot on. The World, there's a level of acceptance too. Because in between the Knight, the World, is the World, and then the Queen of Pentacles. So there is some kind of level of like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what it is. And instead of being hindered by whatever clarity or end of illusions that this 4 of Cups brings, or whatever comes out of the disappointment where you're like, well, that's not how I thought it was going to go. And I have this whole new set of expectations. And also 8 of Swords is also an expectations card for me. Like, if you're expecting something to go one way and then it doesn't, where do you wind up? 9 of Swords, right? Where you're like in your head thinking about, oh, it shouldn't have been that way, whatever. But the Queen of Pentacles, it's almost like you're transmuting that into, well, guess what? Leo's working with what we got. But there is something, you're presented with new information that makes you recalibrate. And that's really what it boils down to. It's not like a tower. It's not like a death card. It's just a literal, like, you turn left instead of right. That's what it boils down to. So 6 of Swords, what is that about? The Fool. It's the 2.0 Fool, because there's two Fools in this. So it's almost like the first Fool didn't work out, second Fool, yes. You still get to go. You still get to do things. Now, what is this Eight of Swords about here? As the Death card comes out. Justice, Death, and Three of Wands. So yes, something rebalances. Something becomes more fair, so to speak. But then that requires a change with a new manifestation. So it's almost like the Eight of Swords kind of halts you and is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Because what is this Four of Cups about for Leo? Because there's definite optimism. And you're just like, all right, what's next? Bring it. Four of Cups for Leo. What is that about? Tell me, please. All right, well, that's a lot. And the one kind of side quested, so we'll talk about it. So you're working on stuff. Three of Pentacles, Nine of Wands, and the Tower. So like I said, if you're working on stuff, you think you're on the right track. This Nine of Wands, you might be like, no, like you're very focused, very about it. And then that Tower is like, it's like the record scratch moment. But the side quest card that came out is the Queen of Swords reversed. So I feel like this is what could happen if you don't do the pivot, if you don't make the decisions. Because I think you're smart enough to know. It's like, I'm hearing leave the party early. At least with no regrets. It's a Colin Hay song. So yeah, I feel like, you do have to, with Justice, Death, and the Three of Wands. It's like a new vision. And if you don't do this kind of recalibration and kind of knuckle down with this Nine of Wands and like, no, we're doing it this way, and don't make the decisions, that's where that Tower can happen. So it's like, take the sign, Leo. So with this Queen of Pentacles, what are we talking about here? Queen of Wands. You got the ladies that do it and know it and be it. So, and then you have the one up here that if you don't make the decisions, we're not moving ahead here. So Leo, also Queen of Wands. There you are. But it's the embodiment of that Queen of Pentacles, and I'm not going by gender. It's literally the vibe. So give me, what is Leo doing here? Four of Wands, the stability, kind of the fulfillment stuff. Because you have the three up here, then it goes to the four. So there is leveling up continuously. There is a steadiness to it. Even if, the only thing that I think would be a backfire is if you're stubborn. Leo, stubborn? Never. So be aware of that. If anything you're digging your heels in on when you're being asked to switch gears, ask why. And, you're like, keep that optimism with the Star, because I do want to see, I don't really think it's the healing aspect. So what is this Star about for Leo? It is, I know these are chunks coming out, but I'm like, it makes sense. So we have High Priestess, okay? So there's listening. Also not having to talk about the Hermit, a lot of introspection, Ace of Wands, and the Chariot. You can literally see the pivot moment where it's like, be quiet, watch, wait for it, and go. So I think you're very aware of it. I just don't think you can lock in particularly. Because like I said, there's new information or a new thing that kind of goes like, let's go this way, Leo. So with the World, what is that about? Six of Cups, the past. Things that you're like, but that was comfortable. That was good. I like that. I want to stay that way. But you are kind of being nudged out of that. The old ways of doing things are probably not going to cut it anymore. Even if, like, your way's totally valid, it's just saying, like, now's the time. So watch for the digging in heels. Also, this could be other people digging in their heels, and you're like, do you mind? Hangman. New perspective, switching it up. Like I said, it's like you rise to the challenge, though. Three of Cups. It's almost, dare I say, it's not like you're mocking the universe, but you're like, haha. You're like, nope. It's almost like it's a challenge, but you welcome it at the same time, and you kind of get to be around people that are kind of in that with you, where you're like, woohoo! But you're just staying real chill in the midst of all this. Because that Six of Swords is that change element where you're just like moving through things, like, I got this. It's cool. New perspective. I'm on it. So, Leo, let's see the oracle here. What do we got going on? We have the coffin. Change. Hello. Something's wrapping up. But, like, yeah. So, we have the tower. It's not Tarot Tower. But there's book. You could be at the end of schooling of something, or you could be at the end of an educational thing for your job. Because the tower speaks to kind of, it's kind of the Hierophant card, but it also talks about higher institutions, schools, hospitals, any government, anything of like the official status type thing. And with the book, the swords and the children. So there is a new beginning that reboots, but it is a little, I'm not saying it's hard fought, but there is a little bit of contention around it. Because the swords, it's like the fencing swords where they're like, en garde, and they're like, back and forth, touche, So there could be a little bit of, I hate to say peeing contest, but a little bit of having to prove yourself in some way for this new beginning that, like, not saying you're not worthy of it, but there is a little bit like, no, I did my work. I did my due diligence. Eight of Pentacles. So what is this tower about? Lenormand Tarot. Yeah, so there's safe and metal. What you're being recognized for, it's important. Like, duh. Also, it could be financially, stuff is leveling up, because what is ending here? It's not like you took the easy road on it, but you made it look easy. And that could be what chaps people's biscuits. Yeah, the end of, it's the guy. But yeah, there could be kind of, like I said, there's new information coming in. So if you were in a relationship, or this could be, the person delivering the news that, like, oh, it's pivot time. Because what is this lightning about? Lightning is like a surprise card, because you're not really sure where it's going to strike. Literally a surprise. Yeah. So we have the clouds, the ship, and the sun. So you're longing for the clarity that's going to come out of it. I think, like, it finally does happen, but there is stuff you have to learn. There is sorting out of what is important, what stays, what goes, and a little bit of proving yourself. And that I'm not saying you're insecure, but it could come from the uncomfortableness of something new. You know what I mean? It's like you're not expert yet, so there's still a little like, oh, I need to, like, come on a little stronger. So just be aware of that. Because either way, you got it. Right, Leo? So, going on to the crystal deck, what do we have for Leo? What's the universal pep talk? That's too much even for me. But Amazonite came out, and that's communication, clarity, and courage. So, let's see. Give me just one. There we go. It was a little hesitant, but we can get down with it. It's Danburite, which is angels, guides, celebration, and joy. So, time to stop taking yourself too seriously. Are you trying too hard to achieve spiritual enlightenment? Bring some joy and celebration into your life. Okay? So that could be something, like I said, feeling like you have to prove yourself in some way. Just remember, like, not making decisions or not listening, because you have a lot of the High Priestess and the Hermit back here. So, I want one more. And that's a Takamite, which is motivation, clearing, and enthusiasm. I don't think you're short on that. So, let's see. These cards, like everything and its mother, keep coming out. It's like, tell Leo all the things. You know what? These three keep popping. We're going to go heavy on the oracles this time around. Kyanite, Tiger's Eye, and Tourmaline. Basically, you need to feel yourself, but keep other people's static out. But also kind of, boundaries up, but open heart, right? So we have kyanite, which is mental clarity, meditation, and decisions. What is personally holding you back from fulfilling your purpose? Then we have tiger's eye, which is patience, readiness, decisive action, and focus. Are we seeing a theme here? All right. Focus on the realization of a dream or project. Sit quietly with the thought in mind. Is it just a wish, or are you ready to manifest the reality? Tourmaline is unity, love, and protection. And this one is move forward with unity in all things. Connect with nature and let the eternal cycles of life bring you balance and wisdom. Yeah. So protection, openness, and, motivation to kind of make it all happen here. So, Leo, that's what we have, and I'll talk to you later.